behave.
Comedian cute Abiola is in our custody, says Navy.
5 die in Lagos about the expressway tanker explosion.
8 killed in tanker burst fire on Lagos-Ibadan road.
Pandemonium as a woman, police kill 3 other persons in Ondo.
Senate panel kicks as SEC allegedly spent 8 billion naira out of 9 billion naira IGR on salaries.
4 die, 5 rescued in another Lagos building collapse.
And with this, we are going to go on a short break to come back for the details of the newspaper.
Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kábíni sínú ọlọ́lá kò pé kéèyàn ó lọ́lá ká tọ́ni dàgbà nílé olókìkí kò pé ká yóò mọ̀ nìyàn ṣùgbọ́n bí orí bá ti gbéni là á pè nílé àyànmọ́ èyí ló bí àkànṣe ètò tí a pè ní ipa tèmi fún ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tí yóò máa dé sí etí ìgbọ̀nyín níkànnì Alóore rédíò níbi tí arábìnrin Yétúndé Fádípẹ̀ Ọládépò yóò ti máa gbàlejò àwọn tí wọ́n ti làmìlaka nínú iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n yàn láàyò iṣẹ́ ìjọba òṣèlú okòwò bí wọ́n ṣe gòkè àti àwọn ohun tí wọ́n fi kó ìjọba lọ́wọ́ lórí àwọn nǹkan kò ṣe má ní ládùúgbò tàbí àyíká ibi tí wọ́n tẹ̀dó sí láti mú ìdàgbàsókè tó lóòrìn bá ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ipa tèmi fún ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lórí Alóore rédíò ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun aago 3 ọ̀sán títí di 4 gbẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ fi èrò yín àti àwọn ohun tí ó fẹ́ àtúnṣe ní agbègbè yín ránṣẹ́ sórí ètò lórí ìtàkùn àgbáyé www.aloreradio.com tàbí ìtàkùn ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ Facebook Alóore rédíò ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló jẹ wá lógún.
àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀.
ẹlẹ́ bàbá àdìo ẹ wo aṣọ ọ̀gbẹ́yẹlé nìkan mọ́ nísìn ẹlẹ́yẹlé gan-an làṣà ń gbé ọ̀rọ̀ ojú òní ìmọ̀ wa rí yín fún. ṣé ẹ rí i nígbà tí ìjọba kọ̀ tí ó sọ̀rọ̀ láwọn ọ̀dọ́ ti ṣaṣara bàgbó pé kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ́ bí ó kù lágbègbè wa ni wọ́n bá níjọba sọ pé kámúrí wá ká fọrùn lẹ̀.
tá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ àdìo ìwọ náà sì tún pẹ̀lú ọ̀bọ jáwúra ní bí wọ́n mọ̀ pé nǹkan tíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ń sọ ni pé a lè fi nǹkan tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó ṣàtúnṣe nǹkan tí ò dáa ó dáa àdìo láti gbẹ̀ tí wàá déhùn ṣé eégún kan ti wá yọrẹ sí babaláwo yín bí.
rárá o bàbá.
ní nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé kẹ́yìn ọ̀dọ́ tó fọn níjọba ti yàwó tùlù fún ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn pé kí wọ́n fi tọ̀gbẹ́ tààlà láti lé gbogbo àwọn ẹni ibi jáde ní kọ̀lọ̀fín wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣètò ọlọ́pàá scrodom ibi fáàbò gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà ni ṣèjọba tó wá ṣe yùn ní òwà rẹ̀ nìràn lẹ́rù ni ó tún mọ́ ọkọ̀ fẹ́ bí.
ọ̀rọ̀ yín yé mi bàbá àmọ́ ọ̀tọ̀ ní táwọn èèyàn mọ̀ wíìkì.
àwọn ará bíi ti tòṣèlú bọ̀ ọ́nù nígbà àtàkùté wọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta òde ó rí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára táwọn ti ròyìn òfegè ní ibi láti sọ̀jọba gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ní súná bú ni.
bàbá kí là á wà á ṣe ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pọ́nrọ̀ sọkúsọ bíi náà nú ẹ̀rùn ni.
ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ tẹ́ ẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dénú náà ni kẹ́ ẹ sọ fún gbogbo òlù pé orí ìpinnu àṣà ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọlé gbẹ́yẹlé níjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ dúró lé.
ó ti yé mi bàbá mo sì ń lọ rèé fọ rere rẹ̀ náà nu. iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You're welcome back to your darling program Newspaper Review on Alóore Radio, transmitting on GSM Studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat, Agodi, Ibadan. The first story I'm going to read says, disquiet as petrol sells for 159 naira per litre at depot, is from the front page of the Nation. There was disquiet yesterday over the hike in the price of petrol. Rejecting the increase, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) accused depot owners of a breach of agreement by raising the price by 11 naira per litre at their facilities. Following the increase, the depot price of the product has gone up from 148 naira per litre to 159 naira. The arbitrary hike represents 6.75% in the price of the product at the depot. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association (IPMAN) National Vice President Abubakar Maigandi confirmed to our correspondents in Abuja, that is the correspondents of the Nations, on phone that marketers were lifting the product at 159 naira from private depots in Calabar and Port Harcourt. For the rest of that story, turn to the front page of the Nation newspaper.
And at page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune, ASUP to federal government avert another strike released 15 billion naira revitalization funds to Polytechnic. Lecturers in Polytechnic in the country have cautioned the federal government against waiting for them to embark on industrial action before releasing the agreed 15 billion naira as revitalization funds into the polytechnics. The lecturer said their hairless stance not to give another warning strike before going into total and indefinite industrial action should the government refuse to release the fund and also meet all the terms of their last agreement subsist. President of the Academic Staff Union of the Polytechnic, ASUP, Dr. Adazin Ezebe, disclosed this in an interview with Nigerian Tribune on Wednesday. He said it was disheartening and unfortunate that the federal government could not honor simple and voluntary agreement 7 months after. Get the rest of that story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. ASUP to federal government, avert another strike, release 15 billion naira revitalization funds to Polytechnic.
And on page 3 of the Nation newspaper, 8 killed in tanker bus fire on Lagos-Ibadan road. 8 persons died yesterday as a fuel tanker and commercial bus busted in flames on Lagos-Ibadan expressway. 5 persons died in the tanker incident, which happened about 7 hours before the bus episode, in which 3 persons died. The tanker collided head-on with a truck and exploded while spilling petrol in the area. The accident happened about 4:46 a.m. near Tunji Alegi petrol station in the Kwakagam area of Ogere, Ogun State. The spill affected some other vehicles parked on the roadside. Confirming the accident, Ogun State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), Ahmed Umar, in a statement blamed the tanker driver for wrongfully overtaking and dangerous driving. Umar said 5 vehicles were involved in the incident, adding that firefighters from Shagamu, PTD Ogere, and policemen from the toll gate area are being mobilized to the scene. The second crash, which occurred at about 14:52 p.m., that is 2:52 p.m., involved a Range Rover SUV and Mazda bus. The bus coming from Ibadan end swerved off and collided with the SUV coming from the Lagos direction. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. 8 killed in tanker bus fire on Lagos-Ibadan road. May God help us.
Amen. Still on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. 50 million Nigerians consume illicit drug. Mawa. The chairman of the National Drug Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Buba Mawa, has said that 15 million Nigerians indulge in the consumption of illicit drugs. Mawa disclosed this in Jos during an interactive session with the local government chairman in Plateau State. He decried the surge in the distribution of consumption of illicit substances, adding that one of the 7 Nigerians indulge in drug abuse, describing the trend as shameful. Mawa, who also paid a cozy call on Governor Zimon Lalong of Plateau, said that the agency that put Muldatin on ground to curb the menace, noting that the surge in drug abuse had destroyed many youths and communities, hence the rationale for the interactive section. Get the rest of the story on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. 15 million Nigerians consume illicit drugs. Mawa.
On page 4 of the Nation newspaper, I have NSAS leaked reports as errors, says panel member. The controversy over the leakage of the report of the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on restitutions of victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters has not fizzled out. The last is yet to be heard about the report, which had triggered mixed reactions among Nigerians, according to a government source. Yesterday, a member of the panel, Temitope Majekodunmi, admitted that the leaked report has errors that could confuse the public. Also, Lagos State government has called for a restraint among Lagosians and other Nigerians to avoid jeopardizing its good intention in setting up the committee. Another panel member, Ebun Adegorua San, also explained that members of the committee were under obligations to refrain from commenting on the report until the white paper on it is released by the government. Also, the leakage had generated disquiet. Panel members dissociated themselves from its circulations. Lawyers, politicians, rights activists, and other stakeholders have called for the full implementation of the recommendations following the submission of the report to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Monday. However, Lagos State government urged Lagosians to wait for the release of the white paper, which will contain its view and the next line of action. For the rest of that story, turn to page 4 of the Nation newspaper. NSAS leaked reports as errors, says panel members.
On page 2 of Nigerian Tribune, there was no Diezani Diamond Bra, EFCC chairman. The chairman, Economy and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa, has said, contrary to the news making the rounds, there is no diamond bra among items seized from a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani and Lizzie Madueke, said to be auctioned by the federal government. Bawa, who made the clarification while participating on its survey program, Your View, on Wednesday, monitored in Abuja, declared that if there was anything of such, he had to know, being the lead investigator who investigated the former minister. Bawa, who disclosed that government was yet to auction the property seized from the former minister, including jewelries, said the diamond bra was a social media creation. Get the rest of the gist on page 2 of the Tribune newspaper. There was no Destiny Diamond Bra, EFCC chairman.
Okay. The next story I have with me is on page 3. It says 4 died in another Lagos building collapse. Another building collapsed yesterday in Lagos with 4 persons confirmed dead. The 2-story building located at Sunnyfield Flour Mill Estate, Magbon, in Oloruda Local Council Development Area (LCDA), Badagry, caved in around 1 p.m. while workers were inside. No fewer than 4 buildings under constructions have collapsed across the state in the past 2 weeks, including the 21-story 4-square home at Ikoyi and 2 other structures in the Lekki area of the state. It was gathered that the 4 fatalities recorded yesterday were recovered from the sites unconscious but dead before arriving Badagry General Hospital. For the rest of that story, turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. 4 died in another Lagos building collapse. This is the sad one.
Page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Food inflation may push extra 6 million Nigeria into poverty. World Bank. The World Bank has said that the rising prices of food items in the country could push additional 6 million Nigerians into poverty. The World Bank, in a publication with the title COVID-19 in Nigeria, Frontline Data and Pathway for Policy, said the rise in prices witnessed between June 2020 and June 2021 alone could push another 6 million Nigerians into poverty, with urban areas being disproportionately affected. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) on Monday said that the annual food inflation rate rose from the 24th consecutive month to 20.75% in October, from 20.71% in September, as a result of further increase in the price of the basic food items. Food inflation may push extra 6 million Nigerians into poverty. World Bank. Get the rest of that story on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And on page 6 of the Nation, I have IG fault circular on female police officers living with civilian spouses in barracks. Police boss orders probe into viral signal suggesting otherwise. The Inspector General of Police (IGP) Alkali Baba Usman has assured that no female police officer in police barracks across the country will be ejected for residing with their civilian spouses. The IGP gave the assurance while reacting to a signal purportedly originating from the Enugu State Police Command that women police personnel occupying barracks accommodation with their civilian husbands should vacate before January 31st, 2022. Usman, who expressed anger about the directive, described it as unlawful, discriminatory, obnoxious, and reprehensive, and out of tune with the concept of equality in Nigeria's constitution. He noted that the directive was not in line with the first gender policy, which institutionalizes gender mainstream as a core value in the Nigerian police force. For the rest of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nation newspaper. IG fault circular on female police officers living with civilian spouses in barracks.
Page 8 of Nigerian Tribune. Ondo PDP not Akeredolu over appointment of son. The People Democratic Party (PDP) in Ondo State and the state government on Wednesday devour on the appointment of the son of the state governor, Babajide Akeredolu, as Director General Performance and Project Implementation Monitoring Unit in the state. The PDP in the state described the appointment of Akeredolu's son as flagrant abuse of office and an affront on the people of Ondo State. The PDP in the state, through its publicity secretary Kennedy Pechere, maintained that the development confirmed that the state is being ruled by Akeredolu and his family, saying Ondo State is governed by father, the wife, and the son. Pechere said Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and his immediate family are bent on living fast on the resources of the people while poverty has taken over the land, noting that Babajide was only few days ago immersed in controversy of bringing a consultant to take charge of the forestry operation in the state. However, the state government has said the appointment was based on merit and for the good of people of Ondo State. The State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Mr. Donald Ojogo, said the attack from the opposition PDP over the appointment is expected, saying our eyes to be focused on what we are doing for the good people of the state and not to be distracted by lazy opposition. Ojogo said, one big error in public governance is the fear of taking decision, and it becomes unpardonably grievously when sound decisions are avoided over what I consider unresponsible criticism. Ondo PDP knocked Akeredolu over appointments of son. Get the rest of the gist on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Still on politics, page 9 of the Nation newspaper, I have rumpus in Ekiti APC over Fayemi's successor. With 7 months to the much-awaited 2022 governorship election in Ekiti State, the fierce political battle over who takes over the mantle of leadership from Governor Kayode Fayemi, who will be finishing his second term in office come October 15 next year, is taking proper shape. The political tension in the state is rising steadily, and hitherto quiet political firmament is bustling with activities like an annual ritual. Political parties that had put their efforts under lock and key immediately after the 2018 governorship polls had resumed operation in full swing in preparation for the election. Politicians across party lines are already oiling their machineries and structures. Parties and gladiators have begun intense politicking in preparation for the primaries in the bid to ensure they go flawless and make sure strong candidates emerge as their flag bearers. Unarguably, the election is going to be a two-horse race between the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC) and the leading opposition, the People's Democratic Party (PDP). One of the two parties will produce the next governor, except the unknown happens, which is unlikely. For the rest of that story, turn to page 9 of the Nation newspaper. Rumpus in Ekiti, APC over Fayemi's successor.
NRC prepare for strike, direct officers to protect railway assets. Page 19 of Nigerian Tribune. The management of the Nigeria Railway Corporation (NRC) has directed all its senior management workers to ensure the protection of railway assets if the planned strike by the two major labor unions in the corporation goes as planned tomorrow. In an internal memo signed by the managing director of the corporation, Mr. Fidet Okiera, the corporation also asked the Commissioner of Police of the Railway Command and the Nigeria Security Civil Defense Corps to ensure all railway assets are protected from possible destruction. There is a breakdown of law and order during the proposed strike. The internal memo, which was signed by the Nigerian Tribune on Wednesday, stated with regards to the impending warning strike action by the two in-house labor unions slated for Thursday to Saturday, November 18 to 20, 2021, the board and management have met with the two in-house unions to deliberate and stand in discussion to advance the proposed warning strike action. However, in the event of strike action, you are please requested to do the following to ensure that railway assets are protected adequately. NRC prepare for strike, direct officer to protect railway assets.
On page 6 of the Nation, I have 15 million Nigerians using illicit drugs, says NDLEA boss Mawa. The chairman and chief executive officer of the National Drug Enforcement Agency (NDLEA), Brigadier General Buba Mawa, retired, has said 15 million Nigerians consume illicit drugs. Mawa said this yesterday during an interactive session with local government chairmen in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The NDLEA boss decries the surge in the distribution and consumption of illicit substances, saying 1 out of 7 Nigerians indulge in drug abuse. He described the trend as shameful, adding that the agency had put modalities in place to curb the manias. Marwa noted that the surge in drug abuse has destroyed many youths and communities, hence the need for the interactive session. For the rest of that story, turn to page 6 of the Nation newspaper. 15 million Nigerians using illicit drugs, says NDLEA boss Marwa.
On page 8 of Nigerian Tribune, police take over APC National Secretariat. National Secretary of the All Progressive Congress, caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Senator John James Akpado-Bede, on Wednesday justified every police presence on the sprawling Balansa Street, the location of the governing party National Secretariat in Abuja. Nigerian Tribune check revealed that the APC-CPC has demanded for police presence on the heels of information that certain chieftain of the party not comfortable with the outcome of the Congress conducted in the state are planning to organize a protest against its leadership. Speaking with a newsman, he said that police laying siege to the road leading to the APC National Secretariat was nothing unusual. Get the rest of the story on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Police take over APC National Secretariat.
And on page 11 of the Nation, I have students to Buhari appoint qualified candidates as rector. The leadership of the National Association of Polytechnic Students has called on the President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure that most qualified candidate is appointed rector of Auchi Polytechnic, Auchi, Edo State. Its national president Sunday Azuku urged the federal government to stick to the Polytechnic Act in appointing the next rector. Azuku urged the government to appoint the next rector based on merit and qualification, adding that it is a disaster to politicize academics inclined appointments such as rector of a polytechnic. For the rest of that story, turn to page 11 of the Nation newspaper. Students to Buhari appoint qualified candidates as rector.
COVID-19, experts warns about impending increase in cases in Nigeria. Former Dean, Faculty of Public Health, Professor Olufunmilayo Fawole, has warned of another impending increase in COVID-19 cases in the country, just as she called for public health measures to be put in place following the increase in the infection cases in the last few weeks across Europe. Fawole spoke at the 2021 Distinguished Alumni Lecture of the Ibadan College of Medicine Alumni Association Worldwide, entitled COVID-19 Response in Nigeria, Testing, Surveillance and Maintenance of Essential Health Services, said that the increase in the number of cases in the last few weeks invariably have a way of going around the world again. The Don stated that the cases of COVID-19 are still more than picked up through surveillance in the country, adding that the cumulative test positivity rate based on our surveillance data is less than 10%, but our serological survey showed that as much as 23% of the population has antibody for the virus. For example, in Lagos, COVID-19 expert warns about impending increase in cases in Nigeria. Page 21 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And still on health, page 13 of the Nation says NAFDAC arraigns businessman for importing fake tramadol. A 43-year-old businessman, Afemafuna Udenesi, is facing charges at a federal high court in Lagos for imported fake tramadol. He is being prosecuted by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on 3 counts of importation as well as sales of fake and unregistered drugs. He has, however, pleaded not guilty for the charges that were brought before him by Justice Daniel Osiagbo. After the defendant pleaded not guilty, the defense counsel, Mr. Emeka Okokpokpo San, informed the court that the defendant was granted organizational bail by the police and he was urged to appear for his arraignment later that day. He then told the court that he was yet to file the motion for bail, that he was going to do that in due course. The court later adjourned till November 15 this year for hearing of the bail application and ordered defendants should be taken to a correctional service at Alagbon pending bail. For the rest of that story, turn to page 13 of the Nation newspaper. And with that, we have come to the end of today's newspaper review. I want to thank you for listening, and you can log on to us on Facebook at www.facebook.alore/Alore Radio or YouTube Alore Radio. Our website is www.aloreradio.com. Thanks for listening. I remain Olukemi Omotosho.
And also you can call us on 09039853731. I'm Tenitope Ojawo. Till tomorrow. Bye for now.
ọgbà tí àṣẹ jiná lóde ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòó tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun